Hello and welcome to our weekly IG Live. I hope you all are having a good summer so far and finding your peaceful place and your purpose, even with everything crazy that is happening in the world. And that's what we're here for. We're here to give you a weekly dose of inspiration and positivity. And that's one of the things we're going to be talking about that we often talk about is about following your dreams. And we're going to be talking with author Deedee Cummings about how you can follow your dreams, and then it's really never too late to start. And that's something that Deedee has inspired me about. Hello, thanks for joining us. That we're going to be talking about following your dreams and how it's never too late to get started. And in some ways, it's like just like starting a new phase in life, and so we shouldn't really feel regrets for not starting something earlier. Hello. But instead just see it as like now you're moving to the next stage and everything you've done prepared you for what's happening now. Let me get Dee Dee on here for us. Hello.
Hi, how are you?
Good, how are you?
Good, I'm doing great. Nobody pay attention to my hair today. I've been swimming.
Hi, you look great as always. How are you?
Oh, I'm doing wonderful, and I'm just so excited to talk about this subject today. And I see our friend Yesenia is on again. I just want to give her a shout out because Yesenia, you don't know how much it means to me to see you on every single week, and I hope you find what we do interesting and inspiring. Kayla McDaniel, who's also on, made a comment over on Facebook that she loves watching our lives every week and finds them inspiring. So
Oh,
that's the
good to
best.
hear.
That's the best compliment I could get.
Yes.
Yeah,
So for everybody, if you are watching us every week, be sure to let us know if there's something in particular you would like to hear about or what it is that you most interested in.
definitely. Yeah.
So I was just giving a little background. We talked about this a little bit last week, but just how we talk every week about following your dreams and kind of taking practical steps towards making your big dreams a reality.
Yeah.
And that we had talked a little bit at the end of the last IG Live about how it's never too late to start, and we shouldn't be feeling regrets about not starting something sooner because this is just the next phase and what you're gonna be doing in your life.
Yes, I suggested that we talk more about this week because actually you had made a comment last week, which I really appreciated because I meet people all the time, and I recently met someone when I was taking some branding images, some photos for Makeaway Media, who made a similar comment, and it just reminded me that I need to remind people of why we started Makeaway Media to begin with. So not to go into all of the detail about the mechanics of Makeaway Media, but a lot of times we talk about diverse books or Broadway shows, but really what Makeaway Media is all about is it's called Makeaway because I want to encourage people to make a way for their dreams. I have always said in the businesses I've worked in, when we have meetings, I always tell people, don't tell me it can't be done. Tell me how it can be done. Don't tell me no, tell me how. Because if you have a dream, um, people often, it's like we're programmed to do this. People will often tell you why they think that's crazy. I mean, all of us have experienced it. Leanna, if you've ever tried to buy a home or
Mm-hmm.
maybe wanted to go visit some faraway place, the first thing that you'll hear from people, or if you want to start a new career, the first thing that you'll hear from people is all the reasons why you shouldn't do that, or the horror stories that they experience. Well, I tried to buy a home 5 years ago, and here's all the horrible things that happened to me when I did. I mean, it's more common to get a lot of negative comments when you're trying to follow your dreams than it is to get a lot of positive feedback.
Mm-hmm.
Just somebody just simply replying, that's a great idea. I think that you should do that. So it reminded me that we kind of need to come back around and talk again about um, what makeaway really means. And so we specialize in kids books because sometimes I think it's easier to reach kids because they still believe.
Right.
Um, but adults are the ones who buy the books, and adults are the ones who we're asking to have these conversations with kids. So it's important for me to remind adults too. I have children in my office all the time that sometimes it sounds like they have these crazy dreams, but their dreams really aren't that crazy. They're really not that, outlandish. Leanna, I hope you don't mind me sharing this, but I remember when your daughter, you asked her what she wanted to be, and she said she wanted to be a cat, and you were a little concerned about that. And I
Well, I
thought,
wasn't sure what to do. You're supposed to encourage your child's dreams, but it's not like she's going to be a cat. So I wasn't sure
not,
how do I encourage her with that?
she's not going to be a cat, but what if she becomes like a world-renowned veterinarian? What if she's a cat specialist?
Or maybe she's going to be an actress.
You never know what is in her mind, what the mechanics are in her mind. What is she
Right.
thinking about that's going to inspire her to really pursue whatever it is she's interested in that has to do with cats? And so, like, I've had kids in my office say that they want to be a butterfly, and the parents say, "Oh, that's crazy." Instead of saying that's crazy, what is it that they like about the butterfly? Maybe they want to fly. Maybe that little girl will grow up to be a pilot one day. We don't know when we sound more alarms and bells and whistles about somebody's dream than we do to encourage them. And it's not easy to follow a dream. I tell people all the time, I was a young mother. Um, I had a lot that I had to do on my own before I got married, and had a partnership with my husband, who's my biggest supporter. But before that, I didn't know if I was going to be able to go to college. A lot more single mothers are going to college now, but back then, the statistics, and they probably still are, not in favor or not supportive of a single mother going to college, because it's hard to do that. But it's not impossible. So back then, the statistics were horrible about a single mother being able to finish college. And I always tell people, it took me 6 years to get a 4-year college degree. It took me 3 years to get a 2-year master's degree. And it took me 5 years to get a 3-year law degree. But I did it.
Mm.
And it's over. And I have those degrees, and they've helped me with my dreams and run my businesses and be able to write and be able to represent myself as a reputable business person who knows what they're talking about. And so what I want people to walk away with today is, if you have a dream, sit down, spend time with that dream, think about the dream. What is it you want to do? And it doesn't have to be as big as going to law school. It might be that you want to start a blog. It doesn't have to be a huge thing. But if you're like, I'm really interested in this, I'd really like to learn more about it, to start taking steps towards it. Really listen to your gut. What is it telling you that you want to do, and why? Why do you want to start the blog? Is it just for fun? Do you just want to leave a story behind for your family, or do you want to become an expert in a niche and maybe turn that into a business? Because all that's possible.
Oh,
So
what do you say? I mean, you were talking before about how a lot of times people try and shut down our dreams. And what would you just say to somebody who isn't getting any positive support from anybody in their circle? You talked about how now you have your husband who is really supportive of you, but before that, you did what did you do before you had that support? If everybody they talk to shuts them down, how can they get that encouragement? Of course, watching this IG live.
that's a
We're
great
here to encourage you, but yeah.
a great question. Because as a therapist, I definitely work with a lot of people who have friends and families that are not supportive. And sometimes, all of that is kind of inherited. It's passed down, just like we learn poor coping skills, just like some people in some families have teeth that they brush every day. And every once in a while, you'll meet a family where the whole family has horrible teeth. They have passed that skill, that thought that's down from generation to generation. And I know that sounds like a silly example, but it's a crystal clear example. So just like we pass down, like whether we shower every day, or whether we believe in God, or whether we read every day, we also pass down coping skills. So, sometimes you'll see a person who has a really negative outlook on life, and then you'll meet their parent, and their parent has a really negative outlook on life. So if you're surrounded by negativity, The first thing I want you to do is try to separate yourself from that negativity. So that doesn't mean you never talk to your family again, but maybe that's not the best group to share your ideas and try to cultivate um, your dreams with. So find a group of people who are supportive, make new friends, join a club. Lots of groups, lots of communities have, there's all social media. I always say I hate social media because I do. But there's so many wonderful things about social media. Like I met you on
Yeah.
social media and you've been a positive support in my life. And I think I've been a positive support
Very
in your.
much.
And so you can find these people sometimes out of thin air. Social media, whenever I meet new people on social media, it feels like they've just fallen out of the universe, and fit perfectly in my life.
I've talked to a lot of, in my other job, I interview a lot of authors, and
Yes,
so many of them say that when they got started, they joined a Facebook group or they joined a
yeah,
local group of authors of
yeah,
other people. Or they joined a writing group, something like
yeah,
that. Like you're
yeah,
talking with the
yeah.
networking support group.
And so social media is a great place to meet people who are trying to do what you're trying to do. And another great thing about social media is you can share on there. You don't want to be negative in the group all the time because you don't want to bring other people down. But if you have a bad day, you can share in that group. Man, I had a bad day. I feel like the universe is shutting down my dreams.
Mhm.
I'm running into negativity at every stop. And that group will rally around you and
Mhm.
they will give you all kinds of ideas and inspiration and hope. And all of a sudden, you'll feel like you've received an hour of free therapy and
Right.
energized to do it again. Because the great thing about groups is that they remind us that we're not alone. We all have negative experiences. Sometimes people look at somebody like a J.K. Rowling and they're like, well, I'll never be J.K. Rowling. Well, the vast majority of us will never be J.K. Rowling. That's
Right.
just true. We won't be. But it doesn't mean that you can't follow your dreams or be successful some other way. We don't have to be a J.K. Rowling. But even people like J.K. Rowling, or I think it's maybe Stephen King. There are all these stories of people who received literally hundreds of rejections before they got their first acceptance from, the powers that be. And these are people who back then they had no choice. They had to be accepted by these big companies. And now we can do so much on our own because of social media, because of self-publishing. So um, the things I recommend that you do if you have a dream and you really want to follow it, or to spend time with your dream, really understand
Mhm.
what your dream is. Make your dream like a best friend. Give it a name,
Mhm.
talk to it, listen for it to talk back to you. I know that sounds silly, but it really does work. um
Maybe journaling. I know you've mentioned that before.
I'm sorry, what?
Journaling.
Journaling, writing down
Writing.
all your ideas, because sometimes you'll be in bed late at night and you'll think, well, I don't have to write that down because I'll remember it tomorrow. You'd be surprised. You'll have these genius ideas that'll come to you in the middle of the night when you just get up to use the bathroom, and you'll say, well, I'll remember it tomorrow, and the next day remember it. So write down everything, even if you think that it doesn't fit, write it down. So don't lose sight of your ideas and what you want to do, or the things that you've already tried. And then find supportive people. I'm so glad you asked that question,
Mhm.
because sometimes, we feel like the people that we know best in our life are our parents, or sometimes even our own spouse can be negative.
Right.
Thankfully, I don't have that situation, but I know a lot of people who do. Your
Mhm.
best friend can be negative. That doesn't mean that you can't hang out with your best friend anymore, but maybe that's not the place where you share your ideas for your dreams, because they're all going to be shot down. So
Mhm.
find groups, find people you can talk to, listen to IG lives like this, listen to podcasts, um, and never, ever, ever think that it's too late or that time has passed, you're too old. I had said last week, when we had this idea to talk about this today, that, until you're not breathing anymore, it
Mhm.
is not too late. So as long as you have breath in you, you can tell your story, or you can change something in your, excuse me, I
Oh,
was trying to get that sneeze off as long as I could. Um, but as long as you're still breathing, there's still time to do whatever it is you want to do, especially if you just want to share your story with the world. There's lots of ways now to make that happen.
right. Right. And kind of like we talked about last time, instead of thinking about it that you're too late or you wish you had done it 20 years ago or whatever, just to think about it, all the life experience you've had in those 20 years that's prepared you even more for what you're going to be doing. Maybe
Right.
doing it now would actually, there'd be some advantages to if you had done it when you were younger.
I
Um,
think about that a lot because I always think about, man, in the past 4 years, I've written like 15 books, and I'm like, just think if I would have started this 25 years ago, I probably have 100 books out.
yeah,
But I don't know how good those books would have been. I don't know how much heart there would have been in those books, because these books that I've been writing lately, they're filled with my experiences and things I've learned. They're filled with my heart. And my heart just wasn't the same 20 years ago. So I didn't start writing until I was in my 40s. A lot of people are always surprised by that.
mm-hmm.
Because I think in our culture, people think if you're an author, you've always been an author, you
Right.
know? And I didn't start writing until I was in my 40s. And I think I had to have all the experiences that I did to be the author I am now.
Right. Right. I mean, in terms of your life experience, but even professionally, because I know you've worked a lot of your
Yeah.
experiences from the therapy side of it and bringing that into the book, and that's really clear to see how
Yeah.
you incorporate that into the stories.
Yes. I
Mm-hmm.
appreciate you saying that. And weaving these stories of therapeutic interventions or things that kids and adults can do
Mm-hmm.
to just help us make it through the day and help us realize like it might feel like it's over, but that doesn't mean that it is over.
Mm-hmm.
Weaving those things into my stories has been something that has just been, I think it's been my calling. And
Right.
it is definitely the hallmark in all of my books. And it wouldn't have been that way 20 years ago. Even though I've
Right.
always had interest in working with families and children, it just
Mm-hmm.
20 years ago. So
Right.
again,
Wouldn't have had experiences
don't
in the
beat up for waiting so long. Remind yourself that you are exactly where you're supposed to be.
And I just, speaking of where we're supposed to be, I
Yeah.
was just looking at the time and I realized we were just about the end of our time and we haven't even talked about the giveaway.
Oh, yeah, that's right. We haven't talked about the giveaway. Oh my gosh. We had so many people sign up for the giveaway, and I'm so honored um, that we had so many people sign up. I'm looking now uh, at our giveaway signups, and we have people enter for extra.
And can you remind people how they sign up for the giveaways?
Um, Well, I don't know. I need to talk to you about that because this week people signed up for the giveaway. They could get one sign up for just being on here live today,
Right.
um, but they could also earn extra entries
Mm-hmm.
for tagging someone on the post that we had on Instagram. Um, and so they could tag someone on Instagram and earn an extra entry.
Right.
Um, let's see. But do you think we should do it the same way every single week so people know what to expect?
Sure.
Or do you think that we should switch it up, like people have to do different things to be able to win?
Um, I think it's nice to have some consistency, but what if maybe we have some extra ways to sign up that maybe change each time? Like, okay, you always have to be on the live, but you can also tag a person or you could share it in your stories. Is that like rethinking those kinds of things?
Yes. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
something like that. I'm new to giveaways, so um, I'm not really an expert in how they all work and come together.
Right.
Um, let's see. Yesenia is on with us live today, so she automatically gets entered. So Yesenia, we're going to send you something because what I showed, I think it was last week. I'm sorry, all my time runs together. Of our program, I know that she really liked that, our concept program for the Broadway musical. So we're going to select Yesenia as the winner this week. I have a tool that I can use that will randomly generate the names, and we'll do that the next time. But Yesenia is the only person on here today who doesn't have a connection
Mm.
to Makeaway Media. So we'll select Yesenia as the winner today, and we'll announce that on our Instagram page so everyone is aware of who won. And then in the future, we'll use our generator because we got so many people that I was really blown away and really impressed. And so maybe we'll even announce someone else on Instagram because I really want to encourage people to continue to sign up. So we'll probably end up with 2 winners this week. And Yesenia already has the first 3 books, I think. So we'll probably send Yesenia the last 2 books, and we'll send her our concept guide because she is a very, very, very faithful fan. And I really appreciate you, Yesenia. I say your name probably every week.
Well, congratulations, Yesenia, and everybody else. Look out. Like she said, we might have another winner this week, and we're going to be having one every week. So, and also just join us for your weekly dose of inspiration. And we are so glad to see you on here. And remember, if you joined late, you can find it up on Instagram in a few minutes and on YouTube later today.
Yeah. Thank you so much.
See you.
You too. I'll see you next week.
Bye.
Bye.